Welcome to Los Angeles. Welcome to the Rizzo Run Club podcast. LA Marathon Ambassador Ezra Weisz and guest co-host Miguel Peralta. What is up, running family? Welcome to the Rizzo Run Club podcast. Today is a special day because it's a special edition. It is the Rizzo and Small Show. Before I introduce him, we're talking about the LA Marathon Ambassador. We're talking about the LA Roadrunner Pace Leader. We're talking about the LA Marathon Pace Leader. He holds babies. He signs autographs. The one and only Miguel Peralta.
What's up, guys? Thank you, Rizzo, for bringing me onto the show. It's super cool that you reached out and wanted to integrate me to be part of it. And hopefully we create something awesome.
Absolutely. I was trying to think, should it be the Rizzo and Small Show or the Rizzo and Miggy Show? I don't know what it is.
Ooh, I never thought about that.
Yeah. And so fresh from LA Roadrunners this morning at the Valley.
Yeah, the inaugural Balboa Park meetup. So it was a blast, a big turnout, and the route was super amazing. We had some overcast, so that was nice as well.
Yeah. And you know, I'm sad to say that he's leaving Santa Monica. He's headed to Encino, so he'd be holding babies and signing autographs.
Yeah, the meet and greets will be out in Balboa Park, and then I got offered a nice, sweet six-figure contract to go pace out there.
I heard.
Just kidding.
Yeah. And your own autograph table. Yeah. I love it. I'm gonna let you introduce our next guest. It's like, this is amazing, right?
Yeah. So our guest today is gonna be Ezra. He's out from Pasadena Pacers, and if you've been in the LA running community and at races, he is really recognizable, mostly because of his energy and his attire. So welcome in, Ezra.
Thank you so much. It's the Riz and Small Show.
The Riz, Smalls, and Ezra
Yeah,
show.
Riz, Smalls, and Ezra Show. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, Pasadena Pacers in the house.
represent.
Shout out to Pasadena Pacers.
That's right. Growing in numbers every year.
That's right. And you just had your LA Marathon kickoff yesterday. I saw the pictures online.
That's
Very
right.
big.
We had a big turnout, a lot of returning faces. Our marathon coach, Andres De La Cruz, who's phenomenal. He's excellent physical therapist, chiropractor. He also makes sure that all of our marathoners are well trained. I mean, A+ students. If everybody sticks to the program, everybody is going to finish their marathon and feel good and be strong and want to do it again the next year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're really excited. Yesterday was an exciting morning for the Pasadena Pacers and Pacer Nation, which are chapters like in Azusa, and we have in Whittier, we have in Thousand Oaks. I mean, we have Pacers all over the world. So it was an exciting day yesterday.
Yeah. I saw your post. It looked great.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun runners. I love it when new runners show up to the Pacers. I'm just so familiar with returning faces all the time, right?
Yeah.
So we get to know our friends, we get to meet new people, we get to meet new friends when they show up for training, right? Because you're like, wow, you're showing a commitment to yourself, a commitment to running, a commitment to like meeting a goal that you never thought you could before with a half marathon or marathon, or even just a more active lifestyle. And because you see faces like that over and over again, you just start to harbor the sense of pride, for those people. Like, I'm excited for you,
Sure.
excited on your journey.
Sure.
And it's amazing when you get to see some new faces.
Yeah.
And it's I try to be as friendly as possible without being too friendly or too intimidating, because I want them to return. I want them to feel comfortable, and I want them to be able to return.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And did you have the tutu yesterday?
I did not. So Rizzo's referring to a tutu that I wear. I wear a Ladybug Outfit that I run from an apparel company called Maxim Life. And they had a licensing agreement with a show that I work on called Miraculous Ladybug. And I reached out to them. I said, if you send me one of those outfits, extra large, if you send me one of those outfits, I'll wear it in my next race. To be fair, it is for women. So all of their apparel that they have are for the female form. So I make sure that I wear a tutu, a modesty tutu, to cover up my backside and my front side, because it's designed and stitched for the female form. And there's not a lot of room in there for any twig and berries. Yeah.
I love it.
So would you say that that outfit is like your race exclusive?
So ever since then, they did send me out the apparel. They thought I would never, ever wear it. It was also all over my social media. I did a little post of like, look, they sent me the outfit. This is what I look like in the outfit, you know. And then I wore it at a race and they were really pleased. But what I liked about wearing the outfit, and I'm telling you, I really had to find a deep level of confidence to show up on a race day wearing an outfit like that. And it was unusual for me because for at least 10 years, if not longer, I was always wearing a Pasadena Pacer running shirt. I would have, you know, just black shorts on. That was my go-to outfit. And for any of the running culture out there, you know how special your race day outfit is. So for me to step out, also with my run club, I want to be identifiable with the other runners. I want them to see that I'm a Pasadena Pacer. So if it's their first race, if they don't know anybody, we can high five. We just need to say, just like they do with LA Road Runners, go Road Runner, I see you, you know, way to go, LARR, all that stuff that we shout out to each other. You don't need to know the name. So it was strange for me to step out without having the label on, even though the color scheme is the same because it's red, white, and black. Ladybug's red and black, polka dots. So then I wore it on a race day, and I liked how it made people respond to me.
Sure.
I was a little insecure, to be honest with you. I was definitely, you know, uncomfortable about wearing that kind of outfit. But people were like, hey, Ladybug, wow, you look great. Nice tutu. Like all those comments were coming my way. And over time, I realized, number one, if I wear the outfit again, then they'll recognize me again.
Yeah.
But it really allowed people, strangers to me, to practice friendliness. Right. To practice a little outgoing positivity that they may not normally get a chance to do. So people will be like, you're looking really good, Ladybug. Hey, I see you, Ladybug. Look, there's the Ladybug, right? So they would like choose to share their kindness, their positivity, their optimism, their light. And I was like, wow, this is a nice opportunity for people to exercise friendliness. And I started to wear this outfit. I'm not wearing it. I don't know why I'm gesturing to myself. But I started to wear the Ladybug outfit right around, 2019 or so. And it just started off going really great. And then all of a sudden the world shut down. We had a terrible pandemic and we're running virtually. And then when the races came back in person, I put back on the Ladybug outfit. And then people were like, hey, I remember you. I'm like, wow, it just felt really good to be. I love attention. Don't get me wrong. I love attention.
No.
I love it. You want to take a picture with me. You want to fist bump. But as ambassadors for a race, I wanted the race community, those runners that were signing up, I wanted them to know, like, yes, this fool is here for you. If you want to take a picture with somebody that you don't know, if you want somebody who you feel like is being more ridiculous than you are, I'll be that person. I want you to feel comfortable. I want you to know that this is your race. I want you to have a great experience. So I ran a race today in the Ladybug outfit, and it was super fun. It was the Surf City 10 out in Huntington Beach. It's my second year running that race, second year running it in the Ladybug outfit.
That's amazing. Yeah. I mean, I was just going to say, shout out to you. Just came from a race, literally.
Yeah.
Ran a 10-mile race.
Yeah, it was
Huntington
so much
Beach.
fun.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I must say that the Ladybug outfit is appreciated, especially from all levels. Like for me, when I toe the line and I'm ready to race, I'm getting in this mindset. Sometimes it builds up a lot of anxiety. To see a person like you, having fun and expanding all this energy out there, it alleviates that pressure from race day. So sometimes I'm so anxious and tight, and I see somebody having fun, especially someone like you. I'm like, all right, cool. It's not that serious. Like, relax.
I appreciate that. Good. Yeah. And when you're relaxed, as we all know, when we are relaxed, that is when we perform our best. The best comes out of us when we are relaxed. Yeah. Speaking of, how you doing on your first co-host with the Riz and Smalls? How's it going?
I haven't passed out yet.
No, you haven't. You're doing great.
Yeah. I want to know if you're committed to the next race, maybe wearing a tutu,
Yeah.
joining Ezra.
Maybe.
I put you on
Yeah.
the spot here.
Yeah. You know, you do find a lot of tutu wearers when you do like any of the Disney run races. You'll
That's
see a
right.
lot of tutus
That's
out
right.
there. That's real. You know, a Disney race is known for people to get up into some sort of cosplay or costume, or
Yeah.
even if it's running apparel that is a Buzz Lightyear running shirt, or you know, a Minnie or Mickey Mouse running clothes. And that's all, like, you would expect that there.
Yeah,
but
of
when we
course.
step into the LA Marathon,
Yeah.
or if we do any of the other really big races in our area, people are like there, very serious. Just like you said, you know, they're kind of focused. They put a lot of effort into their training. And I don't mess with anybody when they're in the zone like that. You know, I'm not like, look at me. You know, I respect those athletes
Yeah.
that put a lot of dedication into months and months of training, changing how they eat, how they sleep, the friends that they choose to engage with during that training phase, you know, just to kind of keep that focus. But if it like makes someone feel a little bit more relaxed, or even gives them a laugh. Now, I know that there is a nice slice of the pie where people are like making fun of me. And it brings me right back to elementary school or high
Sure.
school, where I'll put myself out there, and I'm hoping that when I do put myself out there, as I did in high school and in middle school, to entertain or to be funny, or for even a chance for me to just perform a little bit, that there's a portion of folks that would always like make fun or bully me. And I can still feel a little bit of that energy, whether it's real or it's like deep-seated garbage that just kind of comes up. So for me to like practice that sense of confidence in a ridiculous outfit, when I see the two of you at a race, or when I see any of our running community that is like overwhelmingly positive and supportive, and they genuinely find joy from just seeing me and seeing me in that outfit, it's so well worth it. So well worth it. It's just usually the newer people who feel a little bit intimidated by
Sure.
someone who could be, I guess, so much of an extrovert.
Yeah.
You know, that they need to like poke a little fun at them.
I mean, and make no mistake about it. What, you must be like 6'2", probably?
Close to 6'2".
Yeah, 6'2".
Yeah.
And then when you come in the tutu, I mean, it's a sight,
Yeah.
right? And I will have to admit, when I first saw you years ago in it, I thought to myself, this guy's amazing. Like,
Oh.
he has zero fucks. He just
Yeah,
does not
yeah,
care,
zero.
right?
I have a lot of them. I'm just like, I'll just hold on to them for a while I get through this race, you know? And then once I see people that are like, hey, way to go, or look, it's you again, or here's what happened today. I go and I pick up my race bib. So I'm there early. They usually don't have same day bib pickup, but this race does.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Surf City 10.
Yeah.
So I picked up my bib, and the guy next to me, he is frantically on his phone. I'm like sensing his energy, like what's going on here? And then he pulls up a picture of me in his race photo. You know how like when they'll take a picture of you on the course, there's usually a bunch of other runners that are around you. Like they'll do 5 or 6 in that one
Yeah.
zone, and you're closer, or you're kind of in frame, or you're a little out of frame, but then you see all the other runners. I was really in frame with him, and he's like, dude, look, this was you. You were in my picture
That's awesome.
from last time we did a race, you know, one of
So
the race
good.
series. I was like, oh my gosh. I introduced myself. His name is Mike. And then at the end of the race, he comes over because he completed a challenge and was going to get his bonus medal. And I was like, Mike, I'm so proud of you. You got your bonus medal. Now we know each other, right? He wanted to get a picture with me. I did a little video with him, letting him know that he like completed the series, gets his bonus
Yeah.
medal. It's just, you know, stuff like that. Those are little stories that happen in such an enormous landscape of a marathon or half marathon. It just makes it so exciting to keep running.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I kind of feel, I'm a little disappointed here that maybe there's a sense of bullying, but Ezra, you have been like the delight of the LA running community. I mean, there is no race. It does not exist if you're not there with the tutus. So, you know, we all love you. We all love, you know, the energy you bring. So,
Thanks, Rizzo.
yeah,
Thank you.
It's been amazing.
Yeah, I think, you know, what I'm doing, you also do. And you can follow me on this one, right?
Yeah.
Like, if we were to say, oh, do you know Rizzo? And like, Rizzo, who's Rizzo? Dude, black frame glasses,
Yes.
right?
GoPro.
He's got hat, GoPro. He's got the stick. He has amazing footage. He's got the drone. They're like, oh yeah, I know that dude. They know you.
everyone knows
They
you.
don't need to know my
Yes.
name. They know me. I'm the Ladybug
Right.
dude. And hopefully they'll know your name
Yeah.
and they'll subscribe to your
But it's-
podcast. But it's the black frame
the
glasses.
black frame glasses.
But more than that, it's the consistency, it's the friendliness,
Right.
it's the support that you show for the run. It's
Sure.
all of this podcast,
Sure.
even extending like, I guess the black frames of your brand, right? So that
I
more
love that.
people
Yeah.
can know what's up and know that you have a real passion for not just running. A lot of running podcasts are about like the running. Let's talk about the nutrition, and here's the new gel. Check out these new carbon plated like, and those are really valuable and very interesting.
Yeah.
But you're a story guy, right?
Yes.
And you're there to capture the story. Your content is always beginning, middle, end. It always has just humanity in every bit of it, you know? So you want to, what you're doing is you're nurturing a very similar thing that I am doing, just in our own little ways.
Absolutely. Yeah. Mutual respect.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you for saying that.
Of course.
Yeah, I really want to tell stories here. I don't want to, be like, oh, so what's the best carbon plate shoe you wear? Tell me the nutrition or everything I ate to do this race, Like,
Yeah.
Do
these
you
are
run in
real
carbons?
stories.
Absolutely.
Of course he does.
You do, huh?
Absolutely.
I haven't tried them on yet. I haven't even, I'm not gonna. I'm good
Let's hear
with
it.
my pay. I'm not about going faster. I'm not about like springing forward. I'm like, let's go nice and steady. I want everybody to see me in the race. I don't want to finish first. I want everybody to see me.
They can't
It
miss
might
you.
do too. Yeah. The only thing I need is like a loudspeaker, but I'm not going to do the loudspeaker.
The loudspeaker would be amazing.
Yeah. Are you going to interview? I don't know the running group. They are incredibly inspiring. You see them on trails. You see them at marathons with a wheelbarrow, giant speaker in the front. Like, just, do you know who I'm talking about?
They run out there in the IE
Yeah.
with purpose-driven runners. And
Yeah, I saw
can't
that
remember
guy.
his
He
name.
popped up on
I
my
mean, they
timeline.
are
Yeah.
like strong-willed, strong-body,
Oh, they're
loud
amazing.
music, great music.
Oh, they're amazing. You've seen the videos of the Karens that get all mad at them and start yelling at
No.
them. Yeah, there's
But
always
there's always gonna be, I'm
There's always
telling
a
ya.
Karen and they're screaming, "Lower your music!" And
Yeah.
they're just like, they put it louder.
You know what I don't understand about the lower your music? We're all running someplace, right? So you can just either go a little faster and outrun them, or go a little slower and let them just go.
Yeah.
Like in any case, they're just yelling at, why are you messing with me right here, right now? It's like, they're just gonna pass by.
Yeah.
But some people like to get aggravated about stuff. But
No, that's
it's
true.
so easy. People can choose to not
That's so
be
true.
so aggravated.
Thank you.
Especially at a run. It's
Thank
like,
you.
if this group of people who's running right next to you is bothering you, and you're in the middle of the pack, just let them go.
Yeah.
Just, take a walk break for a minute or something. Just let them pass by.
Yeah.
Yep.
You don't have to be aggravated. But there are some people who really operate from that place.
No,
and,
completely.
I let them be who they are.
Exactly. Yeah. Going back to the tutu, we're going to have a special edition for the 40th running of the LA Marathon.
For
I
the
don't know.
tutu?
I don't know. Something with some
Oh, my goodness.
glitter.
I mean, yeah, I could. It's Halloween time. We're recording this podcast right now in September.
Yes.
So all the Spirit Halloween stores are open. I might be able to find an upgrade tutu that might have like lights or glitter, or some little stars in there or something. I'm not going to make one. Listen, if anybody wants to make me one, I'll wear it. I'm a size 34 waist. Please make it elastic. So yeah, I may upgrade the tutu. By the way, the tutu is looking a little tired.
Yeah.
A little tired.
It's
Yeah,
time.
I need a new one, an upgrade.
It's time.
Yeah.
Ezra, like when I first started to get to know you, I remember thinking like, this dude's like a cartoon character. And you literally are a cartoon character.
I'm literally a cartoon superhero.
Yeah. Can you get into that a
Yeah.
little bit about Miraculous? I shared it with Miguel yesterday. And
Yeah.
we're just amazing.
Yeah, you don't know the show yet?
I do. Remember,
No.
I sent you photos of all the
Oh,
advertisements
yes,
around
you
here?
did. Yeah, you're good like that. So there is a show that is called Miraculous Ladybug Tales. It's actually called Miraculous Tales of Ladybug and Cat Noir. Cat Noir is the black cat version, and Miraculous Ladybug is the ladybug version, and that is the character that I wear. That's the costume that I wear. She does not have a tutu in the show. She is just, real superhero
Yes.
version of her, right? Just like a Spider-Man or a Superman. In fact, she's very reminiscent of a Spider-Man in terms of like the color scheme.
Right.
Except instead of a spider, she is a ladybug, and instead of it happening in, I think it's New York, right? Is Spider-Man in New York?
Yes.
I think it's
Yeah.
in New York.
Yeah.
she takes place in Paris. So it's in Paris. It's already like really romantic, right? The city of love in Paris. And the show is ridiculously popular everywhere in the world and has been growing in popularity in North America. But I mean, in Latin America, South America, we're talking in Italy, in France, in Germany, in China, in Japan. The show is huge. In Brazil, it's
amazing.
huge. It's huge, like on the side of buses, and they have big stores about it. Lots of merchandise in the grocery stores that have the branding of Miraculous Ladybug on there, and I'm the voiceover director of the English cast. So since it's such a global hit, they do the show in multiple languages.
Amazing.
The origin language is in French.
Yeah.
And then it's Italian, it's German, it's Spanish, it's Hebrew, it's everywhere, and Chinese and Japanese, it's all over the world. But I direct the English voice cast, which is the most popular cast.
I like that.
Because people in all the other territories definitely watch the work that I do and the work of our English voice actors.
Yeah.
And they are incredible. The voice of Miraculous Ladybug is Christina V, and Cat Noir is Bryce Pappenbrook, and the arch nemesis of the show, which is his name is Hawkmoth, and various forms of it is Keith Silverstein. I mean, it's an amazing ensemble of performers. And the show is so wonderful because the overall message of the show is we are stronger together. Right?
that.
So you can fight and try and battle evil, but if you have a partner in it, you'll be more successful every time. So work together with a partner. And their like signature, like we did it sort of catchphrase is pound it. So Cat Noir and Ladybug pound it. They go like that, and that's how you know like all the evil is done. And they go back to their regular life in the episode where there's a lot of, you know, romance and heartthrob and crushing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So because of that is why I wear the Ladybug outfit, because she's a superhero that the world needs to know. But I also am really, really proud to be the voice director of the show, and I'm just excited to watch, you know, the growth of its popularity.
You also are a character in the
I
show.
am a character,
Yes.
right. So I'm also a voice actor.
Yes.
I do a lot of Japanese animation or anime.
Yeah.
A lot of it from starting all the way back in the mid-'90s when I started to do voiceover work. I started off as a Power Ranger in the Mighty Morphin Power
Amazing.
Rangers. I was doing a bunch of different monster voices. That's like my the gateway into doing voiceover work. So did a lot of Power Ranger voices. Then I did a lot of anime voices. And then I started to direct. They just kind of segued into becoming a voiceover director. And with Miraculous Ladybug, at the end of an episode, there'd be like a character that had like one line, just a nothing burger of a character, like nothing. Just like it would even just have a generic title on it. In fact, it just said vendor, and it had like one line. And I got to look at the image of the character, and the character's kind of rotund, and he's an ice cream seller. And I was like, I'll just go in and I'll do that one line, because all of our actors had already come and gone. And we were like, we forgot to do the vendor. Let me just do the vendor. So I went in, I did that voice. And then, and it's a mixture of like a French and Italian. It's just like a non-specific, all kinds of accent voice. And then the next episode that we received, Vendor now has a name as Andre the ice cream seller, and he's the lead in the episode. He's the specialty guest who then sells ice cream and then gets his feelings hurt. As happens in every episode, a character gets their feelings hurt, and because he has his feelings hurt, the evil arch nemesis of the show takes your hurt feelings and turns you into the villain.
Yeah.
Right? And then that villain is in search of finding Ladybug and Cat Noir's bit of jewelry, which is called their Miraculous, because he needs that bit of jewelry so he can make an ultimate wish, all that kind of stuff, right? So I have now my ice cream seller, Andre, is selling ice cream, and then people, hurt his feelings, and then his feelings like, oh, I'm doing such a terrible job. The villain is like, oh, Andre, I'll turn you into Glaciator, because it's, ice cream, glacé, right?
Yeah.
Because it's a French show.
French.
So they turned me into Glaciator, and he like turns into this big giant, kind of like from Ghostbusters, right? The Stay Puft marshmallow guy, except he's a big ice made out of ice cream and cones and scoops and cherries, and he's the big villain. And he has to sing a song, and he has to, make fighting efforts and all this. I was like, oh my gosh. Last week it was Vendor, and now it's Andre the ice cream seller.
Yeah.
And he's a recurring character.
Yeah. I mean, I listened to the voice. I'm like, no, this is not Ezra. And then listen again. I still can't figure it out. You're so much talent, man.
It's
amazing.
me. Oh, thank you, Rizzo.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was hoping you throw it out right now.
Yeah. My name is Andre Glacier, the sweetheart's matchmaker. Oh, and on Scuba 2, I'll find love for you with magical ice cream flavors. Oh, we have a Rizzo here. Rizzo, we will give you a scoop of a mint chocolate chip for your cool and sweet personality, and a chocolate, of course, for your dark-rimmed glasses. And for you will get the strawberries for your twig and berry speaker, and I will give you a scoop of vanilla for your bright white smile. Something like that.
That is amazing.
There you
wow.
go. There you go. There
Wow.
you go. Thank you.
That
Thank
was
you.
amazing.
Like I said, cartoon character.
Cartoon character.
Literally.
Which is weird, right? You don't find that. Listen, we are in Los Angeles, and Los Angeles is loaded with actors, all kinds of actors. And when you are, and just industry, entertainment industry people, writers, producers, people who work with hair, makeup, wardrobe, people, who are working for those, like, it's everywhere. And running is such a great addition to someone's life, because it's all contract based. You're like, what am I going to do next? Like, it's never steady. There's nothing consistent. But if you take on a physical, moving, meditational practice, like running, you can be like, all right, I don't have anything that I'm going to get paid for today, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to run and stay consistent and feel accomplished. And that way I have a sense of pride, and I don't go into a depression that I'm not doing anything, that my career's going nowhere. Like, kind of keeps a consistent, steady feeling of accomplishment, right? And then when we're out running in those races, we never know who we're running to. I mean, it's not every race that we're going to get somebody like Diplo or Travis Barker, or all of the celebrities that we've seen lately that have been running LA Marathon, but they're all around us. We just don't really know who it is, because everyone's just breathing too heavy to talk.
Yeah. I want to speak to your role in leadership. You come out as a natural leader. I don't know if that's always been a natural thing for you, but I've told you in private on how amazing you are with that role. Most notably at the Pasadena half marathon, they had the kids run, and same energy that you just displayed was out there to kind of help with the kids, get them all riled up and get them to the starting line. And if anybody knows little kids, it's really hard to get them controlled and scoop back. It's not time to go.
Yeah.
But you had them entertained, and there was a delay with the race and all that stuff, so they're getting all angsty and stuff. But you had them all warming up and all that stuff. And you also lead the warm-ups for the Pasadena Pacers.
Yeah.
Where does how did you develop that level of leadership?
I don't know if it was something that was really developed. I think it was something that just kind of is with my personality. I was not the greatest student by, taking aptitude tests, SATs, or any other standardized testing. I was not very good with that. I would have most certainly been diagnosed as an elementary school student with ADHD. I wasn't, so I was a distraction to class. And if you're a distraction to class, back when I was in school, you were sent out into the hallway.
Right.
So I would sit out in the hallway. I have a very active imagination. I would be entertaining myself and just sitting there kind of bored and practicing patience, waiting for the bell to ring and move to the next class, where then the next teacher would then say, Ezra, get in the hallway. You're too much of a distraction. So So my grades would kind of suffer. I also definitely have dyslexia, but nobody recognized it in my early years. And it wasn't until I was in 5th or 6th grade where I started to get like real specialized education through private school. And they're like, you know what, Ezra just needs to not be under a time limit when he's taking those standardized tests. Makes me anxious. I would then just circle whatever I want and not like really try and answer those questions because I was worried the time would run out. I also would see, like, if the three of us were taking a test and we were all in that test zone and we're circling those bubbles and filling them in, and as soon as Rizzo, who's smart and, you know, he was studious and Rizzo studied and he puts his thing down and he's done, I'm like, I want to be done. Guess. I'm done like now. I'm done. I'm done with Rizzo.
Yeah.
Because I just didn't want to keep my focus going, right? So my grades would suffer until I got, the tutoring, which was a little bit of an embarrassment. Also, Ezra, can you come out of the class and go to the other trailer outside and work with our specialized teacher? Right. But I also like individual attention, like receiving that direct attention from my teachers made me feel special. And if I felt special, then I could ask or tell my teacher, I don't get this yet. And they'll be like, let me tell you again. If I did that in class, the students would be all, oh, he doesn't get it. And then I'd be like, okay, so forget it. I would just pretend like I knew stuff.
Yeah.
So my grades would be like D's and C's until I got, that individual education. And the one thing that my progress report said, always across the board, always, Ezra shows leadership ability. Ezra's great to have in class. He's very helpful. And he shows leadership ability. And because of that, when it was now time to go into high school, they were like, Ezra, you should run for class president. I ran for class president. Ezra, you should be in charge of the drama club. I was in charge of the drama club. I did all of the leadership stuff. We need announcements made in the beginning of school in front of our student body. I got it. Came down in front, would be able to talk to everybody. Here are the announcements, promoting this, this club activity or this show or that fundraiser. And then when it was time to go to college, I definitely knew I needed a liberal arts school because I wasn't going to get into any big school because my SATs were not strong.
Right.
I needed to go into a school where they said, look at the person that that is applying, right? Look at what they've done in their school, not the grades that they have. Look at what they may be able to do for our school as a personality person, right? So I also knew that I had a passion for acting, for entertaining. I've always told myself and anybody that I'm way more comfortable expressing that I'm an entertainer than I am an actor. Because if I can entertain, right, if I can lead a bunch of people, if I can elevate a room, I'm much more comfortable doing that than I am with, I just want to be an actor, give me all the roles, let me learn the lines, give me the rehearsal. I just always wanted to do more than just that, even though I went to school and I have my degree in theater. And then once I graduated, I was already teaching improv classes, leading improv groups and comedy shows. I was taking leadership positions with touring children's theater that would go into elementary schools for very young audiences. Amazing. I always tell people when they ask me as a voiceover director, what can I do to get involved in your career about being a professional voiceover actor? And I say, well, the one thing you should do, you should be an actor. You should know how to act and like interpret lines and lift them off the page and make it sound like you're speaking. And a great way to practice that is if you go into like a kindergarten class or the children's library section of your library and you do a read aloud. And if you can read a story and keep those young kids interested and engaged instead of talking, walking away, picking their nose, rolling on the carpet, if you can keep those kids with their jaws open, listening to you read the story because their mind sees it, then you know that you have a gift with your voice and you should continue to pursue it and take professional classes and buy professional equipment. But if you're not going to do that, it might not be your bag, right? So because of that, all of those things, I would host a lot of improv and comedy shows. And because I was an improv and comedy show host, a television producer and writer and creator, his name is Peter Murrieta. He had a show that was on the WB network called Greetings from Tucson. And Greetings from Tucson was a great Latino-centric show, which was not on the air really ever since Chico and the Man. So it came out the same year as the George Lopez show. If you remember that show, they were both the same season. The Peter Murrieta's Greetings from Tucson was much smarter and dealt more with a family core and not a celebrity personality like a George Lopez show did, which is also amazingly successful. And I love George Lopez, but Peter Murrieta's work was rich and definitely about connection, relationship, and family, not about always being funny. And he said, I need somebody in the audience to engage the audience because we don't have a George Lopez in our cast. So nobody's there to like see the celebrity, but I need you to keep the audience there so they keep watching and laughing for our crew. So I started to do audience warm up, which is like 5 hours of stand up.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have to stop when they're filming, and then when they are done filming, you got to keep the audience engaged and laughing and keep them familiar. And sometimes those are 20-minute breaks while the writers are like rewriting jokes and the director's trying to fix the scene a little bit because the audience didn't laugh as much. And from there, I started to work on Disney shows. So I did Wizards of Waverly Place, which is Selena Gomez's show, and I did Sunny with a Chance, which was a Demi Lovato show, and I've done Jessie, and I've done just so many, Maddie, Austin and Allie, just all these shows, eventually leading even to All That, if you remember that show, that sketch comedy show. And they did a reboot, and then at the pandemic, all of it went away.
Oh my God.
All of it, like a huge slice of my career just disappeared because people weren't sitting in an audience, and they were usually for young, they're kid shows.
Sure.
So they didn't want to have kids in the audience, and there's kids in the show, and they didn't want to put the kids in danger because you had so many other bodies here. They wanted to like keep numbers very small so that they can get the work done and they can keep doing episodes. And it wasn't until this year where there's a reboot of Wizards Beyond Waverly Place, which Selena Gomez is an executive producer, David Henry's an executive producer. They were the stars of the show along with David DeLuise. And now I'm doing audience warm-up again 4 years later since the pandemic. And I love it. I loved it. And it's entertaining. It's an audience of like almost 200 people. All of them do not know one another. It's weird to tell people to all laugh together when they're all a bunch of straight. You're only going to laugh when you feel comfortable, relaxed, at ease, familiar. Yeah. It's my job to break down the barriers with all of these strangers, make myself a little bit of the fool so that they can laugh at me, know that it's a safe space. I'm not going to make fun of you, right? I'm not going to use you as my jokes, right, and embarrass you. So I let the audience know that it's a safe space for them to smile and laugh, support the cast, and I love that job. It's exhausting. It's a marathon in itself because it goes on for 5 hours.
That's a marathon.
It's 3:30 until 9 o'clock at night. Oh my God. And I love it. It's just a lot of hard work.
Sure. Yeah, I've always been intrigued with your improv.
Yeah.
When you make content, I've seen you like interview people on the spot, and your improv is like phenomenal. I'm like, where did he come up with this? Like, it was scripted, but you're clearly like almost alive.
Yeah.
And then, but Miguel was saying the kids race at the Pasadena half marathon, you were up there, controlling the kids race.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there with the drone. You named my drone Ivan, first off.
I did. I called him Ivan. All right, we'll
You had
continue
all
with
the kids
Ivan.
screaming at Ivan.
Hi, Ivan.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
And then two, I'm sitting there waiting for them to come, and here comes Ezra. I spy with my little eye, and all the kids are like, like waiting for you. It's just phenomenal.
Yeah, I have always loved a young audience.
Yeah.
Always. When I was in grade school, 7th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, during my lunch and recess time, I would go into the kindergarten class. I would volunteer to be in the kindergarten class and to entertain and play and read with those kids. I became an uncle at age 9. I have 4 older siblings. I'm the youngest. I'm the baby, and I act very much like the baby. And I still feel like there's a weird pull for me between you should just grow up already and no, Don't change who you are. Don't change what feels right in my core. And what feels right in my core is to be like this childlike just energy. I just love that. Now, don't get me wrong. I go home, I'm just on the couch. I'm a 50-year-old man all the way through, right? But there's times when I'm around the energy of people, especially if it's new people, I will act in a very youthful way, right? I'll make myself the fool. I'll, be ridiculous. I'll be as much as I can to be out there just to let people feel a little bit more at ease. If I am acting at a 10 and you're at a 4, you're more likely to become maybe more of a 6 or a 7.
Absolutely.
And then you may be having more of a better time with your life.
Absolutely.
And that's a little bit of like, I guess, an unidentified philosophy that I carry.
Yeah.
Like I don't really have, it's not intention set. It just kind of is what happens naturally for me. Speaking about it with you probably for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure you brought that 10 yesterday at the Pasadena Pacers kickoff.
Well, it's tricky, Rizzo, because again, there's a lot of new faces there, and I don't want to send them off. Like when I do warm up with the Pacers, the Pacers, I would say, in terms of like running culture, they're just a little bit more of a professional, kind of reserved crowd.
Great.
Right? We know that there's groups like November Project. They're way out there. Lots of, craziness, spray paint your stuff. Let's just go out there, tear it up. There's other amazing run clubs that really have like a specific personality to them. LA Roadrunners, since it's such a big organization, it breaks up into smaller factions with your pace leaders.
Right.
And within your own pace group, you have your culture. But when everybody's gathered, you all kind of have to be like somewhat neutral until you break up into your smaller pace groups, and then you have your people with you. So when I lead warm-ups for the Pacers, I kind of have to be general, right? I have to like be G-rated for all audiences.
Yes.
I do a little bit of spicy jokes here and there, like when we do our warm-ups and we come around and we like sort of punch our muscles to wake up our muscles, which is a great way to sort of stimulate and wake up. And we move around to the backside and sort of like punch away at your butt, right? I'm like, let's get ready for a fun weekend. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. And then there's some laughter about it. And I do that intentionally to get some laughter.
Right.
Also to be like, look, we're a bunch of grown-ups
Yes.
here. I don't see any, if there's any kids here, they are in a stroller and they don't understand what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I like to put a little bit of spice in what I do, but I also know I can't get too spicy or someone will pull me aside and be like, Ezra, that's totally inappropriate. You can't say stuff like that. You can't do stuff like that. Or, like I'll when we pat around to our bellies, I'll be like, all right, well, it's a bladder check. Let's see if you need to use the bathroom now before we go. This is a good
great. It's
stuff
brilliant.
like that. It's
Yeah.
just human stuff,
Yeah.
But I use a lot of my warm-up technique for my physical warm-ups, but I fuse it with a lifelong practice ever since I was at Cal Arts, where I went to college, which is the practice and application of Tai Chi Chuan. Tai Chi, very slow moving meditation, martial arts form. And a lot of the dynamic warm-up exercises that I lead for the Pasadena Pacers are rooted in Tai Chi warm-ups and exercises.
Yeah.
It's a great way for you to just stimulate the joints, get the blood moving, wake up without doing anything that's too strenuous or too extreme before you start your run. So everybody seems to they generally like it and they genuinely like it.
Right.
But then there are those people who are like, no, you need to like do these running stretches. I need to like jump around. And I say, by all means, go ahead and do that. You just follow me if you want to, or do your own warm up.
Sure.
I'm not going to mess with your program.
Yeah, I think the energy that you have, I told it to you, I think that's your superpower.
Thank you.
And how you're able to capture just everybody's attention. Today, this morning, when we did the Balboa thing, they started a stretch. And I walked over to Coach and I was like, what's stretching? Because I don't stretch, right?
Right.
But that day that I was at Pasadena Pacers, I had just met you. Like, it was the first year I had met you. And I was over there doing your stretches because you kept it fun. I was like, dude, if this guy got me to stretch, that's a testament to the type of energy you bring.
Yeah.
And then also, while we were doing the kids run, I was over there goofing off, doing the same things you are, and I'm a very serious person.
Yeah.
I'm always very shy, you know, conscious of like what people are gonna think. Like,
Right.
look, Miguel, he's being silly, or like he's being a goofball. Like, I don't want that attention. But you had me right there. Like, that's the energy you brought. To
Amazing.
The place.
Well,
Infectious.
that's
Yeah.
exactly what I want, you know, and hopefully it makes it memorable and you remember something that's positive, even if you never do it again. And then you all of a sudden, you know, start to see signs for the Rose Bowl half marathon a year later, and you're like, that was a good time. I remember I had a good time there, you know,
Yeah.
because a lot of people just do a bucket list race. Not many are like we are, where we just really love the community and the culture, but we also really love the discipline of knowing that I have to stay somewhat conditioned if I want to do a half marathon or a trail race. And they just like to do a one and done. And the one and dones are great. I just want to make sure that the time they did it was a really, you know,
Yeah.
positive time.
You're
Yeah.
definitely amplifying the experience and making it a better one.
Thank
for
you.
sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, if you are watching or listening and you are going to run the Rose Bowl half, you're going to run this race, you're going to go inside, you're going to lay on the field like we all do, make your way back out because there's a party when the kids race take over. This guy right here. Or if you're running any race in Los Angeles, you can go about 20 minutes before the race starts, get close to the start line, and this guy's leading a bunch of people in these exercises. It's absolutely amazing,
Yeah.
right? And not only are the Pacers in on it, everyone's getting in on it too.
It's weird, yeah, because the Pacers is a big group. They're
Yeah.
large in numbers. So once they start to do something, then there's other runners that come by.
Yes.
And then you know what? A lot of the students run LA.
Yeah.
They want to come in and they want to get a warm up. And they see that this warm up isn't crazy. We're not asking them to do anything, you know, physical. Or they like, what is this weird? And at first they follow in a mocking way, like, oh, it's so silly.
Right.
And then like, well, wait a minute. Okay, it feels
Getting
kind of
into
good.
it.
Yeah. I mean, the kids run is great, and I would never have had the opportunity to do that if it wasn't for Lucy Murray at
Yes.
the LA Roadrunners as well as the LA Marathon. She was like, Ezra, you know, can you help me out here? I was like, you got it. This is so my jam.
Yeah, yeah.
I love it. I love it. And it first started off with Rudy Novotny. He was up on the on like the pedestal or whatever it is, you know, where the race announcing happens. And I took the mic and I was so overzealous. I was just like filling it with all kinds of bits, doing all kinds of jokes. And then he was like, Ezra, we're going to stretch this out for a while. Like, do a little bit, let it chill. I'm like, you're right, Rudy. He's an expert and a master at it.
Yeah.
And I would love to be a race announcer, but I want to run in the
You
races.
want to run, yeah.
Yes, it's like, what am I going to do?
Maybe we can figure out, put a little earpiece and you can call a shot along the course.
I mean, that would be fun.
Yeah.
Pam does that. Pam like runs the races, and she's got she Instagram lives while she's running. She's phenomenal,
Yeah.
and I'm like, that looks so much fun. But it's also a ton of work. I mean,
Oh my
it's
God.
energy to be on,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
it's energy to run a race. But I find that when I'm like really struggling, and if I do turn my camera on myself and do like some media content stuff, it like lifts me up out of like a little bit of a struggle hole for a while.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, oh yeah. And the biggest thing for me, like whenever I'm struggling in a race, I'm usually in my own head and I'm usually thinking just dark thoughts for myself. But if I like turn to the left of me and I see, or the right, and I see anybody there and they might be struggling, I'm like, hey man, you got it. You're looking good over there. Way to go. And they like look at me and smile. I'm like, okay, my energy is about giving to you guys,
Yeah.
right? And when I give to you guys, I'm also elevated.
Yeah.
And that's a real big strategy for me to like not be on the struggle bus so hardcore.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I totally could relate that. I find that to be true, especially with pacing and all that stuff. I think your thing is a little bit more amplified because obviously you're in a group where you're going to be surrounded by more people.
Yeah.
So
And
that's-
I don't have the responsibility of leading a bunch of runners to what is promised a finish time.
Yeah.
I mean, and you deliver, but you know, there's also times when the pace leader themselves are struggling, and then maybe it's going to be 2 minutes longer than what their sign says. But you have a responsibility as a pace leader to make sure that if we're going to finish this half marathon in an hour and 45 minutes, we finish in an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And that sense of responsibility also can propel you forward, where you feel like everyone's like relying on you, like, I will not disappoint you. Let's go.
I think I found my co-pace leader for next year. So Ezra's gonna come with me.
Yeah, only if you want to run a lot slower.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, it's amazing just to finish a marathon, right?
Yeah.
But what this guy did at the last LA marathon, to bring them in within 50 seconds of the go
Yeah.
time, to beat the go time, absolutely, like, incredible. I mean,
Incredible. It's incredible. It's incredible.
wow. Talk about improv.
We all have our talents.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. We do. And we should share them.
Let's talk about LA Marathon. I mean, we are so lucky, obviously, to have both of you as ambassadors. I am an ambassador for the first time this year.
Congratulations, Rizzo.
Thank you very much.
Is this breaking news?
This will not. When this airs, it will not be breaking news.
Okay.
Although the Whittier Pacers yesterday broke that news
They
a little
did?
bit. Yeah. But
It's all right. It's a
I asked
limited
Lucy, and
audience.
she was like,
Yeah,
whatever.
it's
So
fine.
as long as I don't say, hello, this is Rizzo, I'm
Yeah.
an ambassador. Right? But Jocelyn broke the news too. So
All right.
I mean, yeah, but LA
About you or herself?
About me. We were here on the podcast. She's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, now you're an ambassador." I'm like, "Oh, great.
Thanks,
Here we
Jocelyn.
go. Thanks." She called Lucy up right away on her own just to say, "I messed up."
She's the sweetest. Yeah.
She gave us the blessing
Yeah.
because Lucy had a great point. At least you'll know who watches your show to the very end. So
That's true.
That's a great point.
It's true.
Yeah, thank you to all who wished me congratulations. I know who's watching this. So.
Yeah.
I was saying, like, LA Marathon, the three of us are ambassadors. You both are ambassadors. And we've talked about you on your show, but this day is about Ezra. Ezra, we're so lucky. LA Marathon is so lucky to have you as, one, an ambassador, two, such a face of the LA Marathon. I feel like within the ambassadors, we're all special. We all bring our stories, but there's a few that stand out, and it's just, you're one of them. And what does LA Marathon mean to you? It's got to mean so much to you.
It does.
Yeah.
It means a ton to me. LA Marathon was the first marathon I ever ran. And I did not start running until about 10 months before the LA Marathon. So I got engaged to my beautiful wife, Sabrina, and I got super nervous. And I had all this extra energy and I wanted to work out. And I just went to the gym, and the gym was closed because it was under, renovation, and there was no notification, just a sign on the door. And I'm like, well, I'm all dressed to work out. Let me, I don't know. I'll just go for a run, I guess. And I'm not a runner. I definitely viewed running as like punishment.
Right.
And I didn't like that feeling of being out of breath. I didn't know how to run, but I figured running is just an exercise. I'm dressed. Let's go ahead and do it. So I did it, and I ran for about 3 or 4 blocks, turned around, came back, just purple in the face, so out of breath, sweating. I'm like, that's horrible. I should be able to do better than that. Let me do this again tomorrow. And then that became a pattern of every day.
Sure.
And then that became a growing interest, which then took me to a 10K. And the first 10K that I ran was the Terry Fox Cancer Run that would happen at UCL.
Terry Fox.
The Veterans Center, right?
Yeah. And what year is this ballpark?
Oh, 1998.
Okay.
1998.
Yeah.
And I did the Terry Fox Cancer Run. My father passed away from cancer when I was a teenager. And I'm like, you know what? I need to have, everything needs to be purpose driven. Yeah. So I said, let me sign up for that. Let me raise some money for that. I ran the race, and then I couldn't believe it. I got a t-shirt. I got a goodie bag filled with all these promotional items. I got like a Race Place magazine in there to show me all the other races that were in the area. Yeah. I'm like, this is great. I'm getting all this stuff. It's basically I'm running for free. Right? I got like all the goodie stuff. I just couldn't believe it.
Runner's math.
And I love a nice swag bag,
Exactly.
right? We love to get promotional items and free samples. And I tell that to races all the time. I'm like, just give runners a discount and swag. They'll love it. And then that got me excited. I looked through the Race Place magazine, which was, like newsprint. Mm-hmm. And then I saw that there was a half marathon. And that half marathon, I think, was the Pacific Shoreline half marathon, which is now Surf City.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, that's a cool looking medal. And then I was like really hooked on medals. And then again, I saw like a few months later, it was now time for the LA Marathon. I was like, let me just go ahead and do it. I was trained for it, but I don't think I trained more than 18 miles for a long run. I said, let me go ahead and sign up. And it was downtown LA. And
My favorite course, by the way.
Yeah, well, there were several that were starting from downtown, but I also enjoyed it. That feeling of being in the city early in the morning, all those skyscrapers. It was really fun. And lots of parking. No problem for parking lots. They were all over the place. So I ran that race, and it was like very difficult and entirely magical. And of course, I had my family. My wife was there on the sideline. We had been married maybe 3.5 months at this point, and my friends from work were there, and it was just great. Of course, you're bragging to everybody, I'm training for the marathon, I'm training for the marathon. I'm like, you got to come see me, I'm going to be running the marathon. And then I thought going to the expo was incredible, which was in the convention center downtown. I'm like grabbing this sample, grabbing that sample, giving myself diarrhea from too many nutritional gels. And then it was race day, and it was amazing. I was so blown away by what we all refer to as like the sea or the river of humanity, of all the runners, the sound of all the footsteps that are the breathing in the footsteps. It's just, there's something about it. I don't know if it goes back to our tribal roots, something ancient within us, but that breathing together, that movement together, it was pretty powerful, really profound. And boy, did I suffer when it was over. I just did not know how to recover. I gave myself a little bit of a panic attack because I felt like waves of elevated heart rate, and then my temperature wasn't regulated because I didn't eat anything afterwards for 2 hours. And I should have started eating right away. So my body was like starting to crash. And I'm like, okay, I got to do this again next year. I got to manage this all right next year. And I did it the next year. And then I'm like, I want to do this again the next year. Did it again the next year, right? And I just stayed consistent with the LA Marathon, and I would have like a flawless track of year after year, except one family member got married and another family member had a bat mitzvah, and it was in the month of March during those times, and I'm like, I really can't do it.
Right.
And then I would just shift to a different marathon. So I kept doing a marathon a year until I started to do maybe 2 or 3 a year. Now I'm back to just doing the LA Marathon.
Okay.
Yeah. I do a lot of trail runs. I think the half marathon distance, I think, is the ideal distance. And we need a campaign to change the name half marathon to something else, because people are like, they just crap on a half marathon, like, oh, it's only half of that, you only do half as much, oh, you know what I mean? There's all this half philosophy. It needs a new name. People love the distance. They can train for it not as long. The event is not as long. Everybody gets the medal. They feel just as accomplished, and it's better on their body. That's it. That's all I'm saying. That's my platform.
It's so true,
but I
though.
love the half marathon. You definitely feel a little bit of the struggle within it without you having to manage so many miles.
100%.
And so many miles on the road are hard on your body. I like trail runs. If they're going to be longer, I like it on the trail. It's a little bit softer. It's beautiful. You don't have any like timing clocks or mile markers. It's just you're out there. But the road is hard on your body. It's hard on your mind. There's so much competitive environment happening with faster runners going past you, and
Faster runner.
Yeah, faster runner right here. So I started to really love the LA Marathon. I love the cultural diversity that we run through in the city. I ran through all of the horrible weather, from the heat waves to just the downpours that we really suffered, and the cold flashes, and I just always want to be out there. And with every year, mentally, I think I don't know if I can do it. And every year I do it, and I write down on my bib, I write down my finish time, any other important information, like what time did I wake up and who did I run with, and I say, you can do this again next year. Because I know that I'm strong enough. I know that I love it that much. And mentally, I'm like, I don't know if I can do that journey. But when you actually are present and doing the journey, you realize, oh my goodness, of course I can. I have a strong body, thank goodness. And I train enough. I'm not foolish about this. But the positivity of our community all of our runners, strangers and those familiar. It's just so uplifting that I don't want to miss out on it if I don't have to.
Yeah.
So I really, really love the LA Marathon more than any of the other races. There are more beautiful races. There are races that people like love the course, or they love the medal, or, you know, they love the traveling and the destination.
Right.
LA Marathon is all of those things, but there's also something where I have like a sense of this is mine. Like we're in a relationship together.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
So I do like to show up for that one. That's why it's so special to
Yeah.
me. And to be an ambassador for the race is an enormous honor. It's enormous. I will do whatever I can for whatever they want. If they want me to talk to the media, if they want me to host a kids run, if they want me to, you know, show up at other run clubs and just introduce myself, I'll do whatever the LA Marathon wants, as long as it's not like administrative work. Like
Yeah.
that's not my strong suit. It wasn't ever since school. Like I'm not really good with paper and with numbers. I'm good with people and with showing up.
Yeah.
So if I'm an ambassador, I feel like that's like an important part of the job. Like be friendly, tell people that you love the race, which is genuine,
Yep.
and just, you know, keep showing up. And I'm really good at doing those things.
Yeah. How many years have you been an ambassador?
I'm not really sure. I feel like it was maybe 2018.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Was maybe my first year as an ambassador.
Yeah.
And it was a really interesting challenge during the pandemic months because the LA Marathon never skipped a year, right?
That's right.
So we had a portion of the 2021 marathon came very close to the 2022 marathon.
That's right.
Because the 2020 marathon, the week after the running of that enormous event, which went by without being a super spreader event, the world closed down like 4 or 5 days later. So we did the 2020, and then we had to wait almost a full year and a half until we did 2021. But we did it. I mean, and
We did
a
it.
testament to the LA Marathon and the McCourt Foundation. There was great dedication to making sure this was going to happen, and it happened, and we're still going. And now
Yeah.
it sells out, and the numbers are strong, and it's an incredible event, and I'm so very honored and proud to be an ambassador.
Yeah. Amazing ambassador. Yeah.
Thank you.
Both of you.
Thank you. Thank you. All three
Not
of
only
us.
he's the poster child.
Yeah, I know.
You're the flipping poster child. I'm like, what do I got to do? Wear a tutu?
You're already doing that.
Yeah, I'm already doing that, and they don't care. Yeah, but
This
it's
is
so
so
great. Every
true.
time I see on social media, on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, you know, it scrolls. I do a few scrolls, and then all of a
Yes.
sudden, I see your great smiling face, and you know, representing LA Roadrunners and the LA Marathon, and you're an inspiration. You're a strong runner. Like a lot of runners need a good runner to look up to be like, yes, I can train harder. Yes, I can be faster. Yes, I can make this a thing for me. And you are an inspiration for those runners. And they are deep in our LA Marathon community. I am a party person. I'm like the average, hopefully the average person who feels like they can't do something, that they can do something. But you take the athletic mindset and you say, you can not only do this, you can do it better. You can do it easier. And that's what that smile and you know tells the community when we see you in that advertising.
Thank you
So
for those kind words.
Absolutely.
Making me blush over here.
right on. Well, you deserve it. You work hard at it.
Yeah, I think if you sign up for the LA Marathon, you stop getting that into your feed. So if you're
No.
tired of looking at me and
No.
Oh, no,
seeing
no,
my
no.
face,
It's still there. Trust
sign
me.
up.
I'm signed up and you're there.
Me too.
Like, damn it. Damn it.
I know. My wife, she always says, I'm going to screenshot this and send it to Miguel
Oh, yeah.
every time.
Yeah, I get
Maybe
to-
we should do that. And
I
then you'd
get
be like,
to
wow, they do
shots
get it a
every
lot,
day.
don't they?
Yeah, that was a special touch that the LA Marathon did, and it always brings me joy when people say
Yeah.
that. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I always wanted to be big part of the LA Marathon and help out, and what better way than to be the poster boy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I was just saying you're the face. No, I think
He's definitely a face. All right, I see you've got some tats. Do you have any running specific tattoos?
Yeah.
Any ink on
Nah.
you that's like LA Marathon? Well,
What?
Nah, I always
mean-
thought that they were cheesy. You know, when people go do the Boston Marathon, they'll
Sure.
get the unicorn or they'll
right. Or
You
they
know?
have like the Iron Man M.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always think that's a little bit cheesy.
Yeah.
I haven't even put the 26.2 sticker on my car. So
Wow. Okay. You
Yeah.
keep it on the DL.
on the
Do
DL,
people
yeah.
know that you're a runner outside of our running community?
I don't think so.
Uh-huh.
I don't think so. Yeah.
So it's like you're
I'm
Dr.
incognito.
Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. You keep it incognito.
Yeah.
Nice, nice.
They just know he's a Wapple boy. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, you're a Guapo
Good-looking
boy.
boy.
Is that's it? That's your merch? You're flexing your merch?
That's our merch,
Heck
Waffle
yeah.
Boy University.
Let's go.
I love it. 40th running this year.
Yeah.
Any thoughts, expectations about it? Or?
I think that any year that we can run the LA Marathon, no matter what the course is, no matter where the finish line is, no matter where the starting line is, it's always a huge event. But when it's when there's a 0 behind it, like for any of our ages, or a 5, but the 0 is more special because it's like, 40,
Yeah.
50, 20, right? It's a big deal. I think that a lot of people are going to sign up because it's an anniversary year, and I just really hope that all of those new runners or even returning runners, let's say they haven't done it in 7 years and they really want that 40th medal, or they're turning 40 or 40 this year and they want to have LA Marathon 40 to remember it's their birth year, right?
Yeah.
I just really want them to find a good running club like the LA Roadrunners or the Pasadena Pacers or Eagle Rock Run Club or Silver Lake Track Club or, Cafe Jam. I mean, there's so many great running clubs out there that will teach you and instruct you and guide you to be a strong, healthy runner.
Thank you.
So that you have an experience that you can really cherish and not one that you look back on like it was torture.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be a lot of runners that are coming out that maybe don't have the kind of consistency with their training or experience with runs that we have, right? Maybe someone who's watching now, you're like, I'm thinking about signing up for it, but I'm not really training, or I'll figure it out on my own. You absolutely can. And you can even use those apps. There's lots of great training apps, but nothing can prepare you and support you the way people can. And running clubs are all designed to support the people who support the individual so that they all have a great positive experience. So look in your area. We have an amazing resource here in Los Angeles called the LA Running Connoisseur. It's a great Instagram page. It shows you all the clubs on the days, where they run, so that you can find out what's happening in your area. It's just, we do have an abundance of resources here for you to run smart and healthy and happy. And I hope that all our runners do that for our 40th year.
Yeah, the running concert has really provided a lot of great info for a beginner runner who's
Yeah.
looking to get in. I know I shared a similar experience as you did. First marathon, I had no business getting out there.
Right.
And I just completely suffered that first race. Did you?
Same right here, yeah.
It's just crazy, right?
It's wild. You don't know what to expect.
No.
And, for most of us, we've never even ran that distance.
Yeah.
And it almost seems impossible at the start, right?
Yeah.
You're like, what the heck, 26 miles?
Yes.
Wait, there's 0.2 more?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
bonkers.
Yeah. And you know what? A year of running is kind of not enough. Like, it takes maybe 3 years of being a distance runner or marathon runner for you to really condition your body, but mainly condition your mind so that this isn't just going to be over in 20 minutes. It's a lot of work and energy and effort, and you have to condition your mind to be patient and to stay consistent and to kind of keep moving and to be kind. It's a lot of hard negative thinking that goes on in a runner's head. Like, you got to be kind to yourself while you're running, and hopefully, and LA is so easy to run the LA Marathon. It is so easy to look around and be like, oh my gosh, I'm in downtown, I'm in Chinatown. Oh my gosh, the Disney Concert Hall building. I'm running through Sunset. There's the Hollywood sign. Look at that, the Chinese Theater. You know what I mean? It's like the Troubadour. You see Beverly Hills. So many sites that make you go, wow, I'm like in a movie while it's
Iconic.
happening.
Yes, so true.
And it goes all the way, even to the turnaround where you head on back to Century City and then you finish.
Yeah.
So, everything is there for you. And that Finish Line Festival is definitely worth the turnaround to get back to it.
Yeah.
They really do a
Absolutely.
good job to make sure the runners are happy.
Yeah, they actually started implementing those wet towels, those ice towels. Those
You
are
like
my
those,
favorite
huh?
things. Yeah.
they're really
Just do a little splash
game
back.
changers.
Yes, they do feel nice.
I'm good to party then.
Yeah, you are.
I've asked you this last time, episode 2. Thoughts, expectations again on the 40th running?
40th running.
We're getting close.
We're getting close. I haven't had any insight, so I don't have any beans to spill. But I am hoping for more live bands. I think that's something that's super cool. And of course, since run clubs are expanding, I think the integration of more run clubs being out on the course would be a big thing for me. Just having people cheer for you, put confetti poppers, and
Yes,
cowbells, and all that stuff. That's always what makes races thrilling for me.
I'm always trying to make this guy spill the beans because he knows. He doesn't.
He has an inside track.
Lucy hired a good one right here.
Oh, he knows what's up. Yeah, there are so many like really energetic like run clubs. Venice Run Club, Koreatown Run Club. Like they'll do those confetti poppers like you're talking about, and Night Terror Run Clubs. Like there's so many great downtown LA. It's got all these amazing supportive like setups, like these little support tents that are happening, especially along Santa Monica Boulevard, where you do that out and back portion.
Oh, yeah.
And to see like, you know, to run past a tent and you hear them cheer for their runner, it makes me smile when I'm like, they're so happy to see their runner come through now at mile 24 because they know the finish line's right over there. And they're like, yeah, we're doing it. You know, it's just so exciting to see that.
You know, Lucy, we created a really great clip for her for how to be strategic for this race. We talked about in episode 2.
did.
This guy broke down the course really well. But for someone like me and for someone like you, we're going out to the 40th and we are going to run for fun.
That's always
right?
it. Yes.
Yeah. And not that Miguel doesn't have fun, but Miguel's going to be literally on a specific time. He's going to be dialed in. He's really strategic about turns, communicating. For you and I, though, we're going to go out there and anything goes at any moment, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
A great question for you. Maybe you want to tell listeners or anybody watching any tips for this LA Marathon course that you find are valuable to really, like you said, you want to look here, you want to make sure you see this, you want to see that. Anything else you can add?
I would say that for any of the runners that are going to be doing the 40th anniversary of LA Marathon, that maybe this year or this race, you don't make it your PR. You don't try and, you know, get a Boston qualifying time, but you really do embrace the fact that the LA Marathon has been running for 40 years and that we have such a great city and it's so photogenic. Like, stop and take pictures, right? It's so iconic, and so many of the backdrops that we have will make everybody else jealous. So just go ahead and grab it while you can, because the roads are closed. It's just us, right? Step off to the side, take your pictures. There's so many like crazy characters that are like giving you hot dogs or like giving you, you know, different kinds of like spicy drinks or a taco, like all along the way. Like, enjoy the party. And I feel like in the past years, there's always the attention, the focus of, all right, let's just start, stay consistent, and finish. But there's so much that goes on, right? All the bands, you know, stop, dance in front of them a little bit, right? There's inspirational banners that either ambassadors give quotes or other runners or even just famous quotes from famous athletes. Like, stop and check them out. There's all these little lovely Easter eggs about things that we don't know about the city until you start learning about them through the LA Marathon pages. So snap all of those pictures. Just, you know, enjoy the fact that the city is closed down for you to run through it. And then next year, go ahead and get your run game on again, and like, you know, get your specific finish time or go after your goals a little harder. But I think this year you should enjoy the party, right?
Absolutely.
Like, it's like all the other years are business trips, but this year, this one's a leisure trip.
Yes.
Like, go ahead and enjoy the
I love
vacation.
that.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of value to that, you know, because let's say you do go for your PR race or whatnot, you hit it, what then? You know, don't be so rushed to go ahead and crush it.
Right.
Enjoy it.
Right.
Don't forget about that.
I will also say LA is a hard race to like PR on, unless it's your first
100%.
year doing it.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But you know, much appreciation and props to anybody who PRs on the LA Marathon course, because there are like some rolling hills on there. Going down Santa Monica, it's up and down a little bit. It's not big, but you do feel it. And, you know, to keep like a hustle on there to just get better and better each year, like, mad respect. But for those of you that don't chase those things, and I never, ever chase those, what I like to do is give myself a half-hour window of I can finish around this time, but if it goes to that time, that's fine too, right? Because it's kind of a consistent pace for me. And it is very much middle back of the pack at 5.5, 6 hours.
Yeah.
I'm great. If I finish somewhere in there and my body feels good and I've got all these great pictures from the event, like that's very important and meaningful to me than it is I just, run right past everything and then just get my medal. Yeah.
Yeah. Your content after the races is just spectacular. And it just tells
likewise
an amazing story.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're out there having a great time.
Yeah, I think that is one of the things. Like, even though we see each other often at different events and clubs and runs, of course, I've always had an appreciation for your content. It's smooth and it's clean, and I can feel the care that you put into it and the love you have for the running community. And I think that there's something about our own individual styles, but an appreciation of that also sort of started off a friendship.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. I mean, but you're so quick, and sometimes I'll look on Instagram after an event and you're already in there. I'm like, damn, this guy, man.
And I don't have any of the fancy bells and whistles with editing. I just use like free apps of things.
Right.
But I like to share my life with everybody as much as I can. If people are kind and they receive me well, I like to share my life with them. Going on long runs, we'll talk about everything. We'll talk about anything. I like to share. I feel like I can trust runners.
Yes.
And I feel like I can trust a lot of people when I spend time with them. But if we're out on a new run and I don't know you and we're going to go and do 8 miles, I'll tell you whatever is on my mind, just like you're a therapist. I'll just let it roll.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I feel better after the run, and we've gotten to know each other because I'll listen to you talk to me also. But we're also covering our miles.
Yeah.
And the number one thing, the response is, wow, that went by much faster than I thought. I'm like, yeah, because you weren't miserable running. We were just talking and moving.
Yeah.
And that's the key.
Yeah, that's a valid point you bring up, is that running brings a specific type of person that's very trustworthy.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like to speak to people that are wanting to come into the running scene. Like, don't be intimidated. Like, I don't have any friends or anything like that. You're going to meet somebody there, and that person's going to be great. I remember moving locations and all that stuff, and I didn't know anybody. Just showed up to a run club or DM somebody like, hey, I'm in your neighborhood, do you want to run? First time meeting them, and the last thought in my mind is like, is this person gonna murder me?
Right.
Like, no, like we got to know each other on the run and everything, and it was all great. It was good.
But that's to say, that's first of all, to speak to your point, you also have to do the hardest part for yourself, and that is put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Maybe introduce yourself to someone. That's really uncomfortable for a lot of people.
Sure.
That's
and we're not gonna sugarcoat any. There's plenty of running personalities that just don't mesh with your running personality. So it's not like all runners are good for all runners. You'll find your people.
Yes.
And then when you
shuffle,
find your people, like you really find your people. Like I have some of my best friends are my running friends, and they are just they're because they show that they show up for you, and they show that even if they're not running a race, they care about you because they'll send you a message in the morning or they'll follow up. Like right before this interview, my running friend Aaron, who's my best running friend, like we run together for so many races. Over 10 years of LA Marathon, we've been running it side by side. She messaged me just before we started recording, and she's like, how was your run today? Like, these are friends who they care, they invest in you, It's the best. It's the best. Family can be that way too, but most often they're not.
Yeah,
right?
I don't understand it. Yeah.
Running friends are different.
Families usually, did you win the race?
Oh yeah, right. Did you? You didn't? Why not?
Yeah, that's a good one.
My friends always like, how's the legs?
Yeah, because they know. Yeah, running friends are really, really, for whatever it is that you do, if you're a mountain climber, right? If you're a cyclist, once you are inside of the community that's large, and then you find your people that kind of mesh with your personality, those friends become really important. And I know that this is a running-centered podcast, specifically centered around the LA Marathon, which is a huge community. But the most important message I hope anybody who's listening can take from this is get out of your house, get involved in a community, stay active, find people are out there for you. It's not that hard. Find an activity you love, keep showing up to that activity. You'll find someone there, and that person will elevate your life as you will elevate theirs. Doesn't have to be running. You can be a swimmer, you can be a hiker, you can be a cyclist. For us, it is definitely running. The passion that we're speaking about with running, if you were to click onto a surfing podcast, those surfers would be telling you the same thing we're saying.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it speaks to the power of community, and it also speaks to the power of living a healthy life, which means you have to move your body. You got to do something that gives you joy while your body's moving. Otherwise, you're going to sit, and then you may have ailments with, what's happening with your blood, what happens with your joints and muscles, and then what happens in your brain and your heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you for saying that. Like, that's the whole reason why I started this podcast. And, we had this conversation before the camera started filming. This is not just like the best goo or, best. She's just normal people sharing their stories about their lives, their passions. And like, here we are now. We're ambassadors for one of the biggest races in America. And all we want to do is just inspire people, laugh, have fun, create meaningful friendships, right? And
Yeah.
that's it. So
Yeah.
you said it perfect. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Yeah. Both of you, guys are my friends, my running friends. And, you ask me to do anything, I'll do it, And I came to you at the beginning of this concept. We were in Pasadena.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing. This guy, I say, hey, Ezra, so I wanted to know if you, and I only got that far. And he's like, yes.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it.
And
I trust you, Rizzo. I trust you.
that.
I just knew, like, whatever it is that you need, not so much you, but Rizzo. I knew it. Like, I felt the energy of you're going to want me for something.
Yes.
And whatever it is that you want or
Yeah.
that you would need, that I know that I can definitely do it.
Yeah.
If however you needed it. So it wasn't even like, I don't even need to hear the full thing.
Yeah.
And it's like that,
Sure.
there's certain people that you're like, I'll do that for Lucy. If Lucy's like, hey, Ezra, can you? I'm like, whatever you need,
Yeah,
Lucy.
Lucy is just like, yes.
Yeah.
Whatever you need.
Lucy is for those that don't know, Lucy Marie is our ambassador, which is the boss of all of the ambassadors.
Yeah.
So yes, and she has so much on her plate. She does so much for us that as ambassadors, I feel like, if it's like a pyramid scheme, right? Lucy's up there and we're the next tier under her. And then,
Right.
we try and go and let more and more people know and radiate that message out for
Yeah.
her. Like, we just help with the communication.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you for that. I know it's taken us about 2 months to get you over here.
Yeah.
But crazy schedules and.
Yeah.
But I'm glad. I laughed when I told my wife about that. It's like, this guy said yes before I even told him. So I truly
No-brainer.
appreciate that. Really
Of course,
appreciate it.
anytime, Rizzo.
Yeah. Favorite LA marathon moment?
Oh, my favorite. Okay, I will tell you that I have two of. There's many of them, but there's two that come to mind.
Okay.
Two that come to mind. One is my very first LA marathon. We were running down. Gosh, I don't know what the name of the street is where they have like the Felix the Cat Auto.
That would be
Figueroa.
Figueroa.
Is it Figueroa?
Yeah.
So we were running down Figueroa towards USC.
Yep.
And then we did like a crazy turnaround, remember, around the Natural History Museum and all that stuff. So we were running down. It's a Sunday morning, and church lets out, right?
Yes.
And I remember seeing a woman who just came out of church. She's there by the steps, or maybe she was going into church because it was early.
Yeah.
So she's probably going into church. And she was there by the steps, just kind of all by herself. And she was just clapping and saying, go, 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 all by herself. And I like locked eyes with her, and she gave me such a big smile, like, you're going to do it. And I'm like, I totally needed to hear it. I was running my marathon all by myself, feeling very much alone among 40,000 strangers.
Yes.
And I just felt like that moment just solidified of like what the LA Marathon is, what like all of this is. We're strangers, you're giving me support from your heart that I am receiving. This is amazing. This is amazing. So that's one. That's like one of the very
love
first
that.
memories that I have. And then the other one, a runner from the Pasadena Pacers, who I was training with through the marathon season. Her name is Maria. And Maria, I don't see her anymore. Like, if you stay with a group long enough, people come and people go.
Right.
And Maria, this was during I think it was 2002 when we had just a torrential rainstorm. It was freezing cold and it was like sideways wind and it was awful. And she was having a bout of hypothermia, and she was like shaking, and the wind was coming down and the rain was coming down, and I saw her as I was getting closer and closer that she was really struggling. And I said, everything that I'm doing doesn't matter. She matters. And I had a jacket and I was warm, so I took my jacket off and I put it around her to keep her warm. And we did like small amounts of steps to run, and then we walked, and then we made it because I knew I needed to get her to the medical tent, because it was at that part of the race where we were already done with maybe it was 2012. I don't know. We were already stadium to the sea. So whenever that period, it was early, whenever we had a rainstorm then. So it was definitely like 2012-ish. So I knew we had to curve from San Vicente onto Ocean, and I needed to get her to the first aid station.
Yeah.
I needed to. And I was like, we're going to stay together. You got this. I'm power talking her. She's like, right? Just totally freezing. We crossed the finish line. I'm like, you did it. We did it. I brought her right into the first aid. There was a ton of people that year that were dealing with hypothermia, wrapped in blankets, lying on cots, like the LA Marathon, and I think it was USC Keck. They were dealing with all of us that were suffering, and cots laid out, and I got her all safe, and it took her maybe 40 minutes to like thaw out and regulate, and she was like, "Thank you so much." I was like, "You are my priority. We've been training with each other. You have been struggling. I'm not going to let you struggle." She's like, "Oh, thank you so much. I don't know if I was going to." It's like, it's great. It's great. Like, it made me feel like a hero, but at the same time, it was just like, I loved to take care of people. And I saw that she was really struggling in a very bad way. And that made me feel like this sense of caring for humanity in this fashion is way more important than me just finishing the race and getting my time. Right?
Yeah,
and I was like, wow, that was a significant, I just carried that for myself. And then whenever I see her, she was like, at first a little bit embarrassed, and she was apologetic that I had to like sacrifice my run. I'm like, you kidding me? You gave me the most significant experience that I've ever had as a runner. So those are two that really stick out.
Amazing. I would ask you your favorite moment, but we see it every damn hour on Instagram.
Yeah, it keeps popping up. You're like, yeah.
That's actually a reoccurring moment that happens on races and all that. That's the community that we have with running, and how selfless runners are.
Yeah.
Like, some people would think like, oh, you're a runner, you must really care about your time and all that stuff. But I've even seen it in Boston where a lady literally had a heart attack on the course around like mile 16, and like the amount of people that stopped and just tended to her.
Yep.
A medical professional was luckily on hand that was a runner, and like literally saved her life right there until the paramedics came. Yeah. Which is like super cool. That just speaks to the community. And
yeah. I mean, even look at what happened at, the bombing that happened at Boston. Like, everybody came to everybody's aid. All the runners were like taking care of each other. Yeah. I mean, it was frightening and they scattered, but there were runners that were heroic that came to make sure that everybody was okay. Yeah. I hate it. I hate it when I see a runner go down. Either trip and fall and it's bad, or if there's or if they're having, a heart issue, or if they're having a seizure issue. I just, it's rough. But there's too much attention. And then there's, make sure they have attention. Make sure that the race knows, or that the nearest aid station is there and first aid can come to them. But then there's other times when there's so many runners around the person. You're like, don't add to the chaos of that situation.
Absolutely. Well, I feel like we can just talk for like another 6 hours.
Easily. Yeah. I mean, we're talking about all our favorite stuff. LA Marathon, running.
But I think, Ezra, we're definitely going to have to bring you back. I mean, you're going to have to come back on this podcast.
I'm ready to.
We need to bring you back as we get closer to LA Marathon, of course, or maybe even as we maybe in the middle of training, we're going to bring you back after the Rose Bowl half or something.
For sure, yeah.
Or before the Rose Bowl half.
I
because-
definitely like to put little tips for runners
Yes.
that are like basic tips for runners, like trim your toenails. You know, you
Yes.
make sure you use Body Glide or some sort of, you know, Vaseline or
Yes.
something like that, right? Watch out for sunscreen. All of those like little tips, and I try to be funny about them. So wherever you want me along the training journey or afterwards, I'm always available
Yeah,
for you,
I think
Rizzo.
we're going to bring you back before Rose Bowl half. Because this is your home. This is your home.
Pasadena, Rose Bowl, Pasadena, baby.
That's your stomping grounds right there. You run that all the time.
Yep, it is.
I think it'd be the perfect lead up to help runners navigate through that race. So.
Yeah, Pasadena, the Rose Bowl half marathon in Pasadena is so fun because it's a small town of Pasadena. We run through, again, a nice area. We get to see Caltech. We run down Colorado and Old Town Pasadena. We run around the Rose Bowl. We run across the Colorado Street Bridge. Like, it's, again, very iconic in a smaller area, but it's the perfect build-up to the bigger city race of LA Marathon.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I definitely want to bring you back because we need to talk more LA Marathon. There's so many things we didn't get to today, and it's going to be great information. You've just got it all. So,
well, I appreciate you taking the time to let me talk about Miraculous Ladybug and running, Pasadena Pacers, and of course my relationship with the LA Marathon.
Yes.
I love to talk about all of those things, including my family. It's another thing I really am joyous about sharing. So I thank you for giving me this time on your podcast. Of
course. And if anybody wanted to follow you on Instagram, it's
Ezra Weisz. On all of them, on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook. My spelling is unusual because I have Z's in my name, but it's EZRAWEISZ.
Yeah.
And it's Ezra Weisz. And just find me on Instagram and Facebook, TikTok. I'm there.
And Ezra, you are a Long Beach Marathon ambassador.
I am. I'm an ambassador for Surf City, for Long Beach, and for Orange County, which is the Beach Cities Challenge.
Yeah.
And if any of you are watching this and sign up for any of those races, I do have a discount code. It is Ezra, the number 10. Ezra 10. And that will save you $10.
Perfect. And we'll have we also have the three of us LA Marathon discount codes. You can DM each of us and we'll make sure and get those LA Marathon discount codes to you. My man, talk to me. You got any closing thoughts?
No closing thoughts.
Cartoon character.
I think we had a really good podcast. And just like you said, I think there's more to uncover with Ezra. He's such a big force to reckon with.
Well, I'm an open book. Let's go.
Yeah.
This was awesome. You did a great job. Pound it.
Pound it.
That's it. Way to go. Pound it.
Pound it. Thank you both for being here, of course. But if you don't know this already, if you've listened or watched, I am making the 2025 LA Marathon accessible to those who cannot afford registration fees. You can go to my website, RizzoRunClub.com. You can apply for assistance, click contact, leave me a message, and I'll get back to you with information how I can get you registered if you're experiencing any kind of financial hardship. Also, if you want to donate and help someone in the LA running community or across the nation, I know people from across the nation are reaching out to me that are coming out to LA. If you would like to help a runner run who cannot afford this race, you can donate on my website as well. And, we'll put all this information here. Your Instagram handle, we've gone over before, but what is it?
It's at smalls26.2.
Yeah. And you also have a podcast.
I do.
Yeah.
It's All the Small Things, AT.
Yeah. Have you recorded anything lately?
I haven't had any new episodes, but there's at least 14 episodes on
stuff.
there.
Yeah. But again, we will see you at the 2025 LA Marathon. Of course, you'll see the three of us probably before the Rose Bowl Half Marathon. But if you've watched to the end, the best way to support this channel is to subscribe and like. We're also on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and just so many different audio platforms. So I appreciate you watching to the end, and we'll see you next week.
All gas, no brakes, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. Yes.
Yay.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Special thanks to Lauren Hiltzer and his production company, HK Corp, for letting us film at their office. The podcast is now available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, plus other numerous platforms. Please consider subscribing to support the channel. If you would like to get in touch with me, I can be reached at Rizzo@RizzoRunClub.com. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.